I think there's something to be said for us to unite. We probably need a fresh face. I'll stay on as majority leader. But the one thing I found in talking to everybody, if we are going to unite and be strong, we need a new face to help do that.
Welcome back to The World Over Live. That was Congressman Kevin McCarthy, surprising many when he announced earlier today that he was withdrawing his nomination for Speaker of the House. Joining us to discuss the upheaval on the Hill and the latest on today's Planned Parenthood hearing is the Congressman from Arizona's 8th District and a member of the House Judiciary Committee, Trent Franks. Congressman, thank you for being here.
It's good to be here.
Pleasure to see you. I want to start with this explosive story, the Speaker's vote being delayed. We saw Kevin McCarthy walk away. What happened in that caucus room? I know lunch was set. This was supposed to be a nice, long meeting. Yep. What happened? Why didn't the discussion go on after he withdrew the nomination?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say lunch was set. I just started eating, in fact.
You didn't finish, I take it.
I know it's not a light moment, because this was something that I think took a tremendous amount of courage and statesmanship on the part of Kevin McCarthy. I don't know why he did it. Certainly, we all have differences of opinion in the conference, but Kevin was highly respected, and he's a good man, and I have the greatest affection and honor in my heart toward him. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things that you said stunned earlier, yeah. And that's the right word. We were all stunned.
Well, many are saying now he couldn't have gotten the 218 votes that he needed, and that's why he pulled back, and he didn't have the support of his own caucus, the Republican caucus.
I'm not convinced he couldn't have gotten the 218 votes eventually. In fact, I think he actually could have. I predicted that he would, in fact, ultimately, but the hope was that there would be some negotiation with the different factions, including the conservative groups that I am involved in, and that it would be something good for America, and that we would all try to start on a better foot than we were.
Well, now we're hearing reports that the Speaker, John Boehner, who still remains Speaker, and I suppose will until a new Speaker is elected.
Yeah. I'm glad he did that, incidentally.
Well,
it'd be awkward to have some sort of an interim Speaker for a few days.
Well, he's apparently called on Paul Ryan, who has repeatedly said no, he does not want to run. They are now hunkering down, and I think they're trying to convince Paul Ryan to run. A good idea?
Well, I think there are more candidates for Speaker right now than there are Republicans in the House. So it's a hard thing, but I have great respect for Paul, and I sincerely mean that. At this point, it's hard to see how it's going to shake out. I think there are three kinds of people that predict the political future. Certainly this morning is an example of that. First, those who don't know, and then those who don't know they don't know, and then those who know they don't know, and I find myself in that final category.
Now, there's one guy who really does know, and he just did a radio interview today saying he would be open to being nominated, and that's Newt Gingrich. Yeah. You can have a non-member of Congress elected to this post.
That is correct, yeah.
Would Newt Gingrich,
I think
is that a possibility?
He's looking at it as an interim situation. There's probably no one smarter in all of politics than Newt Gingrich, and again, I'm someone that has tremendous respect and affection for this man. I literally supported him for president at one point, yeah. And I think that's something we should all consider very carefully.
Well, that would be a massive political story. We'll be watching it. I mean, when I covered Capitol Hill almost, I don't know, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, he was a speaker. I mean, it's
he's certainly come to the table with a lot of experience and a lot of intellectual wattage.
No, he's a smart guy. Yeah. Let's talk about this Planned Parenthood hearing, the fourth one so far. You were chairing this committee for a time here. And while you were there, the purpose was to discover if Planned Parenthood had broken any laws in procuring fetal tissue. Mm-hmm. Jason Chaffetz, who's on the committee, has said he couldn't find any instances of law breaking.
Of course, Jason he actually spoke to that when he finally was his turn to speak, mm-hmm. And he said, he was talking about some of the financial sort of the esoteric areas in the financial area that he was discussing, not some of the broader areas. And I think that some of the processes and procedures that Planned Parenthood said and described that they did on videos, I think there's an excellent chance that they may have broken the law. Certainly, the federal law says you cannot change the method of abortion, to procure fetal parts. And the bigger issue here, Raymond, is that, you know, we talk a lot about the fetal parts because it sort of stuns all of our sensibilities, and it should. But the bigger issue is that they killed these children in the first place. Otherwise, their organs wouldn't have been available.
350,000 a year, which came out in the hearing today.
That's right, 350,000 children a year.
Just Planned Parenthood.
And the Planned Parenthood came out against a bill that we recently passed out of the House that would protect born alive children. Born alive children. And I have to suggest to you, if this Congress has come to the point where we can't protect born alive children, then we are so dysfunctional that the government is already shut down. And I find it astonishing that some of my friends on the left would bring up issues like, you know, gun control and all kinds of ancillary issues when we were talking about protecting the unborn, because they don't want to talk about that issue. They understand that the more they talk about it, the more their position becomes untenable.
Very quickly, in our last moments, there's a new committee, a new panel that has been appointed by the Congress that was voted up this week. Tell me what that panel, which would investigate Planned Parenthood, what is it charged to do?
Well, it's going to have a much broader capability, including subpoena powers. And the more the American people understand about the largest promoter and performer of abortions in America, the more they'll realize that this isn't who America is. And for those that would vote against a bill or not support a bill to protect born alive children, then what basis remains to them of making any kind of moral argument?
You heard the Democrats today, and they were saying just this, that this is an attempt to shut down a woman's right to choose, to shut down her constitutional right to abortion, and it has nothing to do with breaking the law vis-a-vis procuring fetal tissue.
They have to say that. They have to do something to discredit the videos or point the issue in some other direction, because the real issue is, are we as a country going to protect innocent, human, little, pain-capable, feeling, in many cases born alive babies from painful, torturous dismemberment in the land of the free and the home of the brave? That's the real question. And we got to ask ourselves, are these really babies? And is there really a God? Because those are very relevant considerations.
Congressman Franks, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Raymond.
We will talk to you in the days ahead.